Welcome everybody to another episode of Lapound the Rock. I am Tyler. This is my brother Trey. I put episode I don't know because I have already lost count of the episodes. Trey's been sick. He was sick last week. Trey, how you doing? How you feeling? Are you ready to go?
I'm good, and I am ready to see the Steelers win another divisional game today.
Yeah, I mean, let's just kind of get right into that one. I mean, you brought it up, so I guess no small talk for you. How are you feeling about this game? I mean, they got big bad Joe Flacco, the Trey Hendrickson. I'm not 100% sure if he is playing, aka he is most
He's
likely
questionable.
he's most likely dealing with trade-itis, I believe, is the injury designation. It's usually when you're about to get traded and you don't want to get hurt.
Sure.
How are
He's
you
not
feeling?
he's not expected to play.
Okay, so I'm expecting you guys to completely whop on these guys. How are you
I think
feeling?
I think we'll do well. I think the Joe Flacco thing is a positive, and I'll tell you why. Steelers are probably a top 3 team at blowing trap games. I mean, we suck. When we have a team that we should beat, we look awful. I think having Joe Flacco in and having the energy that Mike Tomlin brings, knowing what playing Joe Flacco is like, having the very recent memory of Joe Flacco on the Colts, I think that's actually going to help our guys stay in gear and not treat this like a game that we should win, so to
For
speak.
sure.
And they're gonna keep it simple, stupid, and I think last week showed that this team is a lot better at doing that. You saw really mature leadership on the team, and not being wild. We ran all over. Every analyst will say the Steelers ran all over the Browns. We ran a total of 100 yards because at the end of the game, we ran the ball every time, knowing that they were just going to send 6 and we were going to 3 and out, and we did not care because we knew just run the clock down. You cannot do anything but lose this game. You can't beat, no one can beat the Steelers but themselves at that point, and so they didn't.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's a good point, especially in regards to Joe Flacco and the Bengals. He's better than Dylan Gabriel for sure.
A lot better, yeah.
I think he's definitely going to be better, especially with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. So I think the offense is going to be good. My kind of, I guess, curiosity is going to truly be how much the Bengals actually fight and care. Because when you trade, I think what we're all noticing is they're most likely going to be trading Trey Hendrickson. And when you kind of send that message to the locker room, it's like, yeah, we know we suck. So it kind of can send your roster in one of two ways. Either one, it's a downward spiral, and it's like, well, why should we care when the org doesn't? Or two, it's kind of like, well, fuck you. We're going to show you guys why you shouldn't give up on this season.
Yeah. The defense is also just bad anyway. Is kind of my thing. Is for however much better Joe Flacco is than Dylan Gabriel, which is a lot. The Bengals are twice as worse than the Browns defense. You know, I mean, the Browns defense is a top 3 defense in the league, I think, when we went in and played them. The Bengals is probably a bottom 10. They definitely have overperformed, I think, what people expected, but they're still pretty terrible.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing is just kind of going to be what's going to happen with them. I kind of expect the Steelers to walk through this one. I mean, I know there's trap games. I think the Browns are more. I think trap games are trap games when the defenses are good, like the Giants game, like the Seattle game. This game I don't think is necessarily a trap game. I think you guys are going to walk through because usually it happens when it's like, yeah, the defense is pretty good, so it has a way. This one doesn't really give me that, especially without Trey Hendrickson. They quite literally have no one to make a play.
And a notable thing, too, getting into the details of it, is the Bengals are truly worst at stopping what we are best at. So the Bengals have allowed, I believe, the most run after contact in the entire league. The Steelers have gained the most yards after contact in the entire league. So, I mean, when it comes to specific matchups, too, and taking it out of the abstract, it just seems to get better for the Steelers matchup-wise.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that I just expect this to be – I expect this to be pretty one-sided, to be honest. I expect Steelers to win by probably like 10 to 14 points. I don't expect it to be particularly close. I do think Joe Flacco is better than Jake Browning.
A ton,
But you don't have anything defensively. And the Steelers defense is kind of rolling at this point. So if they were
Joe
to catch,
Flacco still likes to give away the ball, and we still love to take it. So
exactly, like the Steelers' turnover ratio was incredible before their bye. They were 7-0 in week 3 and week 4, 7 turnovers, and it was against a team like the Vikings who don't usually give the ball away. So it's one of those things where I really do think that they're going to have their hands full, which I think is good. I think, talking a bit about the Steelers, since this game isn't much to talk about, the Steelers have luckily found themselves, which is incredible, to being in one of the best divisions of football to now they are in the worst division in football. Yeah. That's pretty damn fortunate for them because they already didn't have the hardest schedule. I won't say it's easy because you still have to play teams like the Lions and the Bills and the Colts and the Packers. You got a few hard games.
Definitely.
But the main worry has always been with AFC East or AFC North teams is, dang, we got to play the AFC North like 8 times or 6 times. And so I think for them, it's really, really nice because for these games like the Bills, it's one of those things where you can, in my opinion, you can try things, right? Like you can throw things at the whiteboard and see what sticks prior to playoffs because you have the luxury of, well, the Ravens, Browns, and Bengals are not doing anything this year. Like, sure, Lamar could maybe push to have a wild card run, but at this point with their record of 1-5, the Steelers aren't blowing something like that. That's just not going to happen.
And the other sort of feature to that is, the playoff struggles the Steelers have largely come from the fact that we keep having to play really tough teams at the beginning of playoffs because we're wild carding in either the bottom or the second to bottom seed. Now being, it looking like if we just play good football, like decent football, we're going to be first in the AFC North. We'll probably get a softer week 1 matchup. And there's not necessarily, we're not ruled out of even having a first round bye. I mean, if it continues to improve from here, and we win a couple games we shouldn't, and we don't lose the games we should win, we're probably 3 really questionable wins away from having a first round bye. That's it. 3 games where it would be a head scratcher if we won, or at least is sort of really up in the air if we'll win. And we have a first round bye.
And I genuinely don't really think anyone in the AFC besides maybe the Colts will do too well being able to challenge for that spot because the Chargers aren't going to challenge for first in the AFC. They are cooked right now. The Broncos won't. They, in my opinion, aren't very good either. The Chiefs, I don't think will because they have to play the Broncos and the Chargers. And then the Bills' defense is just one of the worst defenses I've ever seen. Well, so I don't think they're going to be challenging for it.
The Colts we match up really well against because those guys are succeeding a lot through establishing a pretty explosive run game and then punishing teams over the top. We have killers in the secondary, but we also the first 2 or 3 games this year, we were bottom 1 in rushing yards per game allowed. We are now in the top half of the league, or I think we are just at the top half of the league. We're like 16, which means we have probably been a top 3. I haven't seen the exact numbers for the last 3 games, but we have been probably a top 5 team at stopping the run the past few games, or at least the past 2 games, the Vikings and the Browns. And the Browns are like a stout running team with like a feature rookie running back who has been really good. So that shows really good things. If we can stop JT, and we used to be the team that could do that. We used to be the team that even Derrick Henry couldn't run through, and we would win games against offenses like that. So
I am excited to see the Steelers-Colts matchup because I think the Colts are legitimately very good. I think they're actually a really good team.
I do too. But I think the Steelers could, with what we're doing, we're actually doing some exotic rushes, and we're actually playing some games and not focusing so much on having this simple defense that new players can learn easy. I think that's something that we could expose Daniel Jones with a little bit. And if we can stop the run while doing it, then even better.
Yeah, I think they're good. And here's another thing about the Browns, right, is I kind of want to speak on this since I kind of made this topic. Now it's more Steelers playoffs and the entire AFC North. If I'm the Browns, actually, no, I brought this up on the last 2 shows I've done. And I'm just going to say this. I'm going to make this its own subject because it's going to get to
the heart of things.
Yeah, it's going to be, I'm tired of seeing it. I am sick of the short QB thing. And Dylan Gabriel and Brock Purdy have set me off. I'm sick and tired of seeing it. Teams need to.
Is Brock Purdy that short? Is he like? Isn't he like 6 foot, 6'1"?
6 foot in quotes. He is not a big dude.
Okay.
And here's my thing: teams need to go back to discriminating about height, because I am sick and tired of seeing these guys. Bro, you saw it with the Steelers. All they did to even get a lot of these sacks, where they were technically coverage sacks, because he couldn't see.
If you kept him behind the line, yeah.
Push. He couldn't see.
And they all have to step so far back.
Yes, it's the same
get a window.
As Brock Purdy. And here's my thing, right? I get it. Russell Wilson existed. Drew Brees existed. You want to know? And Doug Flutie existed. You want to know why we remember their names? Because it's so damn rare for a short QB to work out.
And Russell was damn near never throwing behind his offensive line. He was running away from his offensive line and then throwing it, or he was throwing just right off the outside shoulder of his tackle, or he was, he was delivering to guys on the edge and running out of the pocket quite a bit.
And dude, watching the Browns game and watching the Niners with Purdy, and it's gotten to the point where you guys, this should be your litmus test. Is your QB under 6 foot? Yes. Okay. Are they as talented? Are they less talented than Kyler Murray? If the answer to that question is yes, do not grab them because they won't be successful. If Kyler Murray can't be successful, your short QB is not going to be successful. He is better than Dylan Gabriel. He is better than Brock Purdy. He is better than all of these midgets that you're drafting. And watching Dylan Gabriel was actually some of the most gross football. They had him throw 52 times. That's not dropbacks, though. That's pass attempts. This kid looked literally like a kid. Like TJ Watt jumped 3 inches off the ground and batted a pass in his face. And everyone's like, and it was a great play by TJ. This is not an insult to TJ.
Yeah,
but the dude,
and he does do that to Joe Burrow too. I think he got 2 interceptions in one game against Joe Burrow doing that shit.
And it's like, bro, but the difference between it is when he does it to Joe Burrow, he's like in front of Joe Burrow and he jumps. He bunny hopped 2 feet away from Dylan Gabriel, and still he couldn't get it over him. It's like, bro, you gotta. This short QB thing has got to go. If you're the Browns in this AFC North, bro, try out Shedeur. I don't care what people say. Okay, if he sucks, whatever. Dylan Gabriel sucks. So if he sucks, you're drafting a QB next year anyways. Who cares? Might as well see if Shedeur is any better than this guy. And that's my thing, right? Is like, dude, I'm tired of the short QBs. Dylan Gabriel is the one that triggered it for me. I can't see it anymore. And then, dude, the AFC North kind of thing is just to get touch a little bit back onto this. It is actually crazy because you and I were saying this was like our team that's going to have 30 teams in the playoffs.
I mean, because it looked that way, and then 2 of the quarterbacks went down in 2 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, and here's my biggest surprise. The Ravens have the most points allowed of any team in the NFL.
Who told you that defense consistently underperforms their talent? They are not well coached on defense.
But here's the thing, though. Sure, yes, but I don't think anyone would have thought, they're going to be the
last
worst scoring defense. In
I
the
thought
NFL.
They would be bottom. I thought they'd be around the middle, maybe bottom half.
To put it in perspective, the Cowboys have nobody, and they've allowed 10 less points than the Ravens.
Yep.
The Bengals have allowed 11 less points than the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, the talent they have on that defense is how?
Roquan Smith was a Patrick Queen merchant. That's what we're seeing again this year. So look at Pat Queen. Pat Queen's been playing some of the best football.
I think Pat Queen has been good, but I mean, Roquan Smith has been
I know.
phenomenal.
I'm messing with him. I love Roquan. I confirmed that stat that I was saying. I was 1 off. Steelers in their last 3 games are 6th in the NFL in opposing rushing yards per game allowed.
And so with talking about the Steelers, and we'll talk about the Niners as well in this subject, as we've said, the NFL is wide open this year. There is not one dominant team. There is not one team that looks better than the rest. Anyone looks like they could beat anyone
I
on
mean,
any given day.
Colts are kind of that team, if any. But yeah, because even the Chargers looked like they might be one of those teams, but then they lost their last lineman, and then Mekhi Becton is still the worst rated lineman on the Chargers the past 2 games in a row, despite backups all over the place, which is very surprising.
Yeah, I mean, and so this leads me to this: if you're the Steelers, I would be hammering the trade phone.
This is it. Yeah, I mean, you've successfully somehow built to win now and for next year. It's crazy. We've done it. We've built to develop and to win. I
like their team, agree. In my opinion, you got to win within the next couple years, at least with what you currently have.
You got to at least make.
You don't have a quarterback.
Game.
You don't have a quarterback right now, so that's a big worry.
Yeah. You need to make a championship game.
Aaron Rodgers has already said, "I'm retiring after this year." He's already said that.
Thank God, because he and DK were wink nudging at each other on a Cam Hayward podcast about that. DK wants him to come back next year.
Yeah,
right?
And I'm sure he might. If I was the Steelers and you won this year, I wouldn't want him to. I'd say enjoy your ride off to the sunset.
You saw what they did with Ben. I mean, they'll step in for sure.
And so here's my thing. I think we should go through both of our teams, obviously Steelers, Niners. Let's do this thought exercise, and I want to give like 2 positions you want to see the Steelers trade for, and we'll do the same for the Niners. In my opinion, the Steelers need to get a bona fide route runner, and in my opinion, the Steelers need to get Breece Hall.
Okay, I think. I might have said I would have liked the Breece Hall trade more a couple weeks ago, but Gainwell and Warren I think has developed as a tandem pretty well. I like them. I think they're a good 1-2 punch when our line gets push. I don't think it's necessarily the thing that we need to target. For me, I agree. I think the number one thing is slot receiver, like a legit slot receiver. I love Jacoby Myers for that. It's the reason I don't love like giving a 1 for a Jalen Waddle as much, because he's more of an outside guy, and I don't want to give a 1 and then pay somebody. That's tough for me, especially when we're already paying DK so much money.
Yeah, Jalen does have a big contract on him.
Yeah, and DK, and we're gonna have to pay him again in 2 years, and DK's on for 5.
Jalen Waddle is signed until 2029, so no.
Okay.
You wouldn't want to sign. He'd be fine, and actually. His cap hit really isn't bad until 2027.
What is like 21 million right now?
This year it's 8. Next year it's 11. The year after that it's 34, and then it's 30.
Yeah, okay. See, and that's the problem is DK Metcalf's contract is not dissimilar. Where DK Metcalf's cap hit this year is 11, but then 31, 32, 34, 41. So it's like we'd be spending almost 80 million on 2 receivers. But anyway, I like a Jacoby Myers. Olave, I would like if I could pretend that concussions aren't a real thing that follow you for your entire life.
Yeah.
So Jacoby Myers is my number 1. And then the other one is tough for me because I would say guard, because Siomalo has not been putting up good tape and he's older. So he kind of violates both our win now principle and our develop for later principle.
Yeah.
But linemen just don't really move midseason. So
yeah, that's true.
I'm not really going to put that one up there. Our safeties have been playing well. I like Chuck Clark and I like Peppers. I think that's still a position where things could get interesting. We could have some fun with it. Otherwise, I would just stick with a receiver. And
we've been seeing things about them talking about trading Highsmith. I personally think they should just be buyers. I do not think they should sell anything.
If selling anyone, I do not like the idea of selling the edge rushers. Having 3 good edge rushers, having TJ be able to go down and still be able to win games should be a big thing for us.
Yes.
And having Nick Herbig be who Nick Herbig is, I get if you want to say put Highsmith 3rd on the depth chart at that position. I don't agree with it. I think they can share that spot on, they're 2 on. One's the 2 on the left, one's the 2 on the right, I don't think we need to buy 2 positions, actually. I think receiver is probably just the one place we should move. And I wouldn't hate us maybe getting like a gadget guy who can play fullback, because it doesn't seem like we're using Jonnu that way like I thought we would. And it seems like we want Darnell to be lined up as a tight end running routes a lot more. So having someone who can lead block so that we don't have to have a 6th lineman out every play could be cool. But
Yeah.
I like the jumbo sets. I like what we're doing. I think we just need a receiver. I don't think we need to buy that aggressively.
All right. And so
Here, hold
now
on. I gotta open my door real quick.
No, you're good. We'll look at chat, see what's going on here. Garrett says Steelers getting that ring. I'm not 100% sure. I don't trust the Steelers in the playoffs at all, nor do I trust Aaron Rodgers, but we'll have to see.
Don't trust Aaron Rodgers. Kill him.
I mean, his postseason's been meh.
He's not been on the fucking greatest team of all time.
So now we're talking 49ers. 49ers next steps. Fred Warner went out. That was kind of the energy bringer of the squad, the defensive quarterback, the one guy that has never missed a game in his career for us.
Last starter you fucking had, basically.
Fred Warner, and the Niners have been linked to Trey Hendrickson. Jawan Jennings is most likely out after his sideline spat with Kyle Shanahan. It seems like the locker room has had enough of him after hearing, I don't know if you heard it, Trey. They asked Trent Williams about what Jawan said in the press conference after the game, where Jawan was basically just whining, saying, I have 5 broken ribs, blah, blah, I'm hurt.
Yeah.
And
I saw that and I was like, no, the fuck you don't, dude.
Trent Williams said, we're all playing hurt. Basically told him to get the hell over it. It seems like Juwan's kind of lost his grace in the locker room after this offseason. So he's most likely gone. Niners are leaked to a lot of players. They're linked to Kayvon Thibodeau because the Giants are calling about a receiver. They're linked to Trey Hendrickson. They're linked to Quincy Williams on the Jets, a linebacker. And so thinking of the Niners, right, the NFL is wide open. So it is hard for a team that is undefeated in their division, still first place, 4-2, to kind of pack it in. And so here's my thought process on the Niners. My thought process is I would kick off trade season in one scenario, and that is not with Trey Hendrickson. I don't think Trey Hendrickson is worth a rental. I don't think he is worth grabbing right now to just rent because I don't think we have Trent Williams. I think the real kicker is the rumor about Quincy Williams from the Jets. He is their stud linebacker that apparently they're looking to move on from because he has a sizable contract, I'm assuming, or he needs to get paid. And so he's apparently coming off the IR. Like he's going to be healthy. So here's my question, right? Is if you're the Niners, are you a buyer? Are you a seller? Are you a little bit of both? Or are you just going to let it rock?
I'd be
actually,
primarily.
No, Quincy Williams has no contract on him, actually. He would be up after the year. I actually would like that trade then.
See, I don't know. So I have the opposite thought where I'm like, I would only be a buyer in the case of someone I'm buying to pay long term. I would be a buyer for Tibbs. I would be a buyer for maybe a young receiver. If you guys could move for a Waddle, I don't see any reason why the Niners wouldn't want to invest a one in Waddle, other than maybe to draft a quarterback.
You have to get rid of BA if you did that.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that would be part of that would be part of a Waddle trade for me, so I wouldn't have to give up a 1 necessarily. I think you could give a BA and a 2, get some money off your books for the next couple years where it starts to get really dicey, because I think 2027 is when your guys' shit gets really bad, and I think his cap hit you mentioned is not going to be too bad in 2027. It's going to get bad in 2028. But what I would say is primarily seller, buyer for young long-term talent. I think Niners are really good at keeping guys in the building and consistently making players better. I would not be in the market for a lease right now as the Niners.
Yeah. So here's my thing with the Niners, right, is I get it if you want to be a buyer. I would do a mix. So again, it would only get kicked off if I could get Quincy Williams. If I could get Quincy Williams, he's not even a Mike. So that's the other issue, is he's not a Mike linebacker, which But all I've heard about Tatum Bethune, who is stepping in for Fred, is this kid is a stud.
He looked good.
I have heard he is legitimately gross. So Quincy would be replacing D. Winters, which D. Winters has not been playing well. So I agree. I think if you can get Quincy Williams, who will be up for grabs at the end of this year, then yes, I would like to see a move for Kayvon Thibodeau, because you can sell what you're wanting to sell while buying what you want to buy. And you wouldn't have to give up draft capital, which you desperately need to fix that bum-ass offensive line. And so that would kind of be my thing. If I get Quincy Williams, who's coming off IR, that would be kind of my thing. Okay, listen, guys, he's a free agent at the end of this year. He hasn't even played. He's been hurt with his shoulder. I'll give you like a 6th or a 5th.
Oof. I don't know if they'd take a 5th or a 6th.
I do. They can't. They don't have any leverage with him. He can either just say he's still hurt, or
does he want out? Like, is that public that he wants?
Yes, because he didn't get his contract.
Gotcha.
And so I would say I'll give you a 5th or a 6th, and then you can be happy with it. And then if you could somehow lock a backer down, then I would probably move again. I don't like Hendrickson. What do you think of Hendrickson? Maybe I'm just a hater. I don't think Hendrickson's the move for the Niners. I just don't.
Trey Hendrickson?
Yes.
I mean, I like him as a player, but yeah, I wouldn't be interested in the lease. And what are you going to pay him while paying Nick?
No. So, and that's another thing. What do you think? Because I think this idea is awful as well, where people are saying get rid of Nick to sign the 31, going to be 32-year-old edge rusher next year for like extension.
I understand the hope to make what has been a very fortunate stretch for the Niners of wins while playing hurt into something. I just think at a certain point you've reached a point where you're not going to turn it into what you want to turn it into. And I think the people who have like the Niners Super Bowl hope alive, it totally makes sense to do the lease for Trey Hendrickson. I'm not one of those people. I don't get it. And it doesn't make sense to me. I think that the Niners are not in contention for a Super Bowl this year. I think it's just too little too late with how many injuries they've had.
And here's my thing, right? So say they get everyone back and everyone for the remainder of the season stays healthy. The only people you're missing are Fred and Nick, which are 2 massive holes to fill.
And he's your green dot. So that's that's a leadership hole too.
And so my thing is, can they win a Super Bowl without them two? Sure, if you get the right people. And here's my thing. If you get Quincy Williams and Kayvon Thibodeau versus Quincy Williams and Trey Hendrickson, do I think Trey Hendrickson is so much better than Kayvon Thibodeau that he's worth the higher draft capital and just a lease? I don't really think so. I think if your thought process is they can win a Super Bowl, Trey Hendrickson, I think similarly about Kayvon Thibodeau, if that makes sense.
Plus,
I think your chances
for Trey, and let's say it's not trade-itis. Let's say he's got a legit hip injury, and that stuff will chase an edge rusher down because if it's on his bend side, that's a lot of load going on that hip game after game, rep after rep, and you might end up with another feature edge rusher that can't play come playoff time.
And that's my thing, right? Is I think if you think they could, I don't think Trey Hendrickson, the difference between him and Kayvon Thibodeau is the difference between Super Bowl contender and not. Like the edge rushers, in my opinion, if you have Thibodeau or Hendrickson, are not going to be like if we had Trey Hendrickson, that's what would have put us over the top.
100%, yeah.
I think it'll definitely fall on. We have the 2 worst coverage safeties in the NFL. In Siegel. Obviously, we're getting Mustafa back.
Y'all up.
We're getting Mustafa back. He's going to be healthier. I'm sure he's going to be actually starting this week. Because Siegel's awful. I get he's a rookie. His run defense is fantastic for a safety. But my God, he is awful at coverage. Jair Brown, I know he says he's a top 5 safety. He is awful in coverage.
Hey, don't they all? Chase Claypool is a top 3 wide receiver too. So
Jason Pinnock, he is not awful. He is bad as a safety. I think that'll be the issue coming to Super Bowl run.
Yeah. Steelers have gotten really fortunate at that position because I will say, as much as I think safety could be an interesting position for us to target just to have a future option, we really did strike oil with Chuck Clark and Peppers.
How is Justin Simmons not signed, by the way?
I'm assuming it's like the Renfro thing where there's just some serious bad tape that we didn't see or some injury issues that people are worried about.
If I was the Niners, I would call him tomorrow and say, let's go, suit up. I'll pay you the veterans minimum.
Give it a shot. Yeah, I mean, but he might not want to play on a vet minimum.
But I will say this. I think the next couple weeks are going to be very telling for the 49ers. I think that's what the organization's looking at. I think that's what coaching's looking at to tell whether they're going to pull the trigger on a big trade. I think this weekend's going to tell us a lot. I think if they beat the Falcons, you'll see a trade come through and they'll start.
Which the Falcons are ripe to get their asses kicked because that's always what happens to these teams that randomly get the
exactly. I completely agree. They are completely overrated, and I think if we lose to them, they're like, well, the Falcons are heating up, even though they're still shit.
That's what it is with the teams with terrible defenses. Is like the one game their defense looks good, everyone's like, "Oh my god, this is a Super Bowl team," and then they go back to letting everybody run all over them and beat the piss out of them. And
and here's the thing, right? Is with the Falcons, real quick, I guess before we move on, we'll get to the Niner game. Oh, actually, we could just do the Niner game right now because their defense is pretty solid this year. It's their offense. They have the third worst scoring offense in the NFL behind the Browns and the Titans. Which I think that's mainly their issue. They actually have a pretty solid scoring defense. They have one of the better
scoring. Yeah. I think the issue with the Niners is if you want to beat the Niners, you just can't let them control the clock. And their rushing defense Atlanta's is not very good. Because I think they answered the edge problem, which I think will considerably improve a scoring defense, having strong edge rushers. But it just seems like the middle of that defensive line still doesn't have a ton of answers.
I actually have a hot take on their defensive line. Their defensive line still sucks balls.
That's what I'm saying. I think the middle is pretty disgusting.
They blitz a lot.
Yeah.
I think this weekend for the Niners is a must win. I don't think there's really an excuse. I think the Niners will win. Mac is apparently going to be the quarterback. They're not going to play Purdy hurt again. George Kittle is going to be back. Tatum Bethune is actually going to know that he's going to be the green dot. He doesn't just have to get thrust in there.
And that's really what the difference is going to be, because Rob Saleh's great, but he is only as good as the man delivering his commands to the team.
Everyone, Kyle, Saleh, people that have been watching him at practice, people that watched him in college said, this dude is going to be just fine taking over for Fred. It was just, you can't really prepare for, oh my God, Fred just went out. I'm now the green dot and have to orchestrate.
Well, he didn't look bad that game, in my opinion. I think the defense still sort of worked in concert. And if I'm him, I focus. It's like obviously focus on both, but I'd focus more on your green dot responsibilities than your individual play.
I agree. His pass coverage was really bad.
Yeah, running backs and tight ends are kind of
I think again he just got thrust into an impossible situation to somehow look good.
Yeah.
So I have the Niners winning this game. I think they'll win probably 24-17, 21-17, something like that. What do you think?
Yeah, I like that. I like the 21-17 with Kittle.
Yeah,
I do.
I think
Kittle's going to be, I think, the new CMC of the offense, where they're going to probably just hit him a lot, give him a lot of touches.
Mac Jones with George Kittle.
I mean, we'll see. Mac Jones gets floaty in the middle of the field. And so I am a little worried about him trying to high point balls to Kittle in the middle of the field.
I think he'll be good. I think
swinging it over his head to a safety.
I think he'll be all right. I think he was really good with Tonjes.
I'm thinking Patriots Mac Jones is all I'm worried about.
He was really good with Tonjes. So if he just throws it the same, Tonjes is really bad at getting tackled with feet. So
I mean, Niners, I think should kind of consider doing what the Steelers do, where they focus a lot on their nice blocking tight end that can also run routes and disguising some routes for him.
The issue is we don't really have one. Blocker. Our blocking tight ends have been
Kittle now that he's back.
Yeah.
And having him look like that Darnell play at the beginning of the Browns game, we were really in our bag. We had Darnell lined up as a fullback. Okay, no way he's running a route. Running backs getting right behind him. I mean, so obvious. They're running up the gut behind Darnell to start the game and establish run. And then Darnell just slips out and we hit him for a 20-yard reception. I feel like Niners can do that, establish the run behind Kittle because obviously they're going to be worried about his receiving
Yeah.
by default, and then start just tricking and bring an extra lineman. Your guys' line does suck, so bring an extra one out there.
Actually,
if you have a backup left.
So to get on this a little bit, I was just about to move on, and now you reminded me of something because I wanted your opinion on this as well.
You're running out of receivers, so having an extra lineman out there is not going to hurt.
Okay, so here's my idea, right? And this is when Purdy is 100% healthy and he doesn't have turf toe. So that's my thing. They need to adopt the Jackson Dart offense. They need to start. They're not going to fix their run game this year. They're not going to fix it. Christian McCaffrey and this offensive line aren't magically going to start opening holes up and dominating.
CMC's getting what he's blocked. And
I think you need to start running Purdy like the Giants do Dart to open up a run game and open up play action for him. And here's my thing. He is
be specific what you mean by that. I haven't seen as much of the Dart tape.
So Purdy's a fragile fella. So you're going to tell him to get down. But what the Giants have been doing is their run game wasn't going well. So what they did is they're like, okay, we're going to do a lot of RPO read option plays, right? So it's a read option, but he's also looking for a pass. So I'll give it to CMC. Nope, I'm going to take it and run for 6-7 yards and get my ass to the ground so I don't get hurt because I'm always hurt when I get touched.
Yep.
Or you have a pass. And I think Purdy's most successful when he has a run game behind him because he needs to get out of the pocket. Like we were talking about with short QBs, he needs to get out of the pocket.
Yeah, so he needs a reason for him to go inside, not out.
To Dre, go check out his channel. We did a great show this week. Love you, Dre. And so, yes, I think he needs to get out of the pocket. He needs to be able to move, and he needs to be able to use play action. So what is your opinion on they need to start running the ball to Purdy as well?
I mean, it's tough to justify with the injuries. I guess if you can get him to go down potentially, for sure.
Yes.
I mean, we're letting Aaron Rodgers get mobile, so if, anyone can get mobile if we're letting Aaron do it. But yeah, maybe. I don't know if you need as many design runs. I like the RPOs, but I think they should look to the Steelers and bring out an extra lineman. It's like you only have 2 good receivers anyway. Is Ricky going to play or is he out?
Okay. Is Ricky going to play, brother?
Well,
you're trying to spot a unicorn with that boy.
Yeah, Kendrick Bourne and Juwan maybe.
I don't know what Juwan's going to be doing.
Those are your 2 decent receivers. It seems like your rookie needs some time to decide when his hands are going to work.
He has not played. I think you're thinking of DeMarcus Robinson.
Oh, yeah.
That's DeMarcus
Robinson.
Journeyman.
He's the journeyman.
Yes, he had good hands before he got to San Francisco, decided to leave him in his last destination.
Yeah, he's catching like this, bro.
Yeah.
Let me get it.
Yeah, Jordan Watkins is back, though. He is back this week, apparently.
Cool. So, but anyway, you guys have 2 good receivers. Use 2. Bring out an extra lineman. Have Kittle. You have 7 linemen now. Christian McCaffrey will be able to get some first downs behind 7 linemen. You'll still have the ability to scheme those receivers open. You'll still be able to send 3 nice-looking routes out and CMC out for a 4th one. And you can even have your extra lineman pop out for a little, delay curl if you need it. But I think Niners need to have their offensive guru head coach be an offensive guru and get creative in using his personnel because right now it's very stale.
Yep, I agree. Dre said, looks like Mac might be getting the start this Sunday. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing is they're not going to force Purdy to play on nothing. But yeah, I agree. I think Kyle's been really good this year, and I think he can continue to be good. I think we need to get really creative for this run game. Start doing more end arounds or something. Get something. Quarter season check-in. So this season has been quite bananas. Our predictions have gone pretty much in the garbage. I think the only prediction I really have that's standing is Niners in first place, Steelers making the playoffs.
Steelers in first place was mine.
Colts being my sleeper team. Proud of that one. So I kind of want to go through the most shocking ones. We already hit AFC North pretty hard, so we can kind of skip over them. The New England Patriots are the first seed in the AFC East. Are you buying that bitch or selling it?
Selling it.
All right.
Selling it. And I respect Vrabel. They just don't have the talent, I don't think, to keep up with the Bills.
Their receiver talent is awful.
Yeah, and imagine that in the winter, bro. You already are going to struggle in that climate to get the ball moving through the air. Your running back also can't stop fucking fumbling. And you're going to have to rely on him in the snow, or you're going to have to rely on Booty in the snow. I'm good.
Booty is Booty.
Booty is slow. Oh my goodness. He is slow.
Yeah, he is. And so do you think they make the playoffs? I do. I think the Patriots make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think the NFC East will have an extra team go to the playoffs over a fucking AFC North team. I could see AFC North now being a 1-team playoff. I mean, they're on each of the teams I think are on a 3+ game losing streak.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. The AFC South might be the 3-team playoff, which is the next team we're talking about. Colts in first, Jags in second at 4-2, and the Texans in third. Are you buying or selling on this kind of layout for this team? The 1, 2, 3 seed.
Yeah. So I think Colts right now are great on both sides of the ball. I don't know that they have a truly elite offense or a truly elite defense, but I think they're great on offense and great on defense, and I think that's a recipe for first. I think Jacksonville has an elite side of the ball. I think the Jacksonville defense is an elite side of the ball. I like that defense a lot. They're taking the ball away a ton. If their offense wasn't turning it over as much, their turnover differential would beat the Steelers by, if they had the same quarterback play interception wise, they would have the best turnover differential in the league by like 4 or 5. They have like 10 more turnovers in the next
I will say their defense allows a lot of points. That's my biggest issue, is they do take the ball away, but they also allow a lot of points.
My thing is, are they allowing a lot of points? Yeah, or are the 8 offensive turnovers allowing a lot of points? I feel like you can only, because Steelers have had that problem where it's like, man, they sure let a lot of yards go, and it's like, well, yeah, dude, they're never off the field. Yeah. So they're playing exhausted by the end of the game. But I think I think the offense will probably get a little more in tune. It seems like Brian Thompson is starting to remember how to catch and run at the same time. And I think that's going to help. And I think having an elite defense is going to keep you in playoff contention.
So here's my thing. I am selling this order. Reason being, I think that I don't think the Jaguars are that good. I think they're getting a lot of turnovers. Their defense allows a lot of yards. And I feel like when you see inflated turnover numbers, it kind of reminds me of the Vikings last year. When you see super inflated turnover numbers, in my opinion, it tells me, okay, when this slows down though, because it's going to regress to the mean, how are you guys going to play? And I don't see their defense being that good. And I think the Texans, I mean, here's their losses: a 1-point loss to the Buccaneers and a 5-point loss to the Rams.
Yeah, and I do like the Texans. I don't see an elite unit on their team.
I think their offense is starting to find a little bit of flow. Yeah. We'll see. Obviously, they play the Seahawks, Niners, Broncos coming up.
And they have a top 5 defense in yards per game. Playing some tough teams, playing the Bucs and the Rams.
So I do think the Texans will end up taking that second spot. But again,
they're number 1 in points per game defense, actually.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, their defense is for
I'm sleeping
real.
on them. I think I'm biased because of the turnover numbers. I'm a Steelers fan. So for me, it's like our team never regresses to the mean on turnovers. It's like, or our mean is just ridiculous. So it's like, I'm sleeping on them. They could maybe have an elite defense as well.
Yeah, I think they'll get second seed, but I do agree with you. I think the Colts are just playing amazing 3-phase football right now. I think they are good they are phenomenal on offense. Their offense, I think, it is the best offense in the league right now, scoring wise. Their defense is great. Daniel Jones is the best quarterback in the NFL.
See, this is my thing, is like, not to backpedal. I'm not backpedaling. I'm more clarifying. When I said I don't think they have an elite offense, I think their offense is playing elite right now. But when Daniel Jones is the best quarterback in the NFL, that's a regression to the mean waiting to happen, in my opinion, on offense.
So here's my thing, right? Is yes, I would normally agree. Daniel Jones, though, I think he's playing very this is easy to replicate what he's doing. He's taking what's given. He's making easy throws, right? He's not doing things like 2015 Cam Newton. He's just kind of like, I'm going to let Jonathan Taylor be Jonathan Taylor. And if he's open on a check down, I'm going to just give him the ball. Hey, if Michael Pittman's wide open across the middle of the field, I'm just going to throw it into his chest.
Yeah, just going to hit him.
Like he's not doing, and then he has Tyler Warren, who again I don't understand how he dropped to 14 in this draft. He was the Bowers prospect of this draft, and he has what is a quarterback's best friend. He has a great tight end.
Yeah.
So I think they're a good ass team. I'm really excited to see them.
Bro, could you imagine taking someone like it's 2023? Baker Mayfield just got traded to the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Not even to be a starter, to compete with what was it, Kyle Allen for a starting position. Kyle Trask.
Yeah.
And Daniel Jones is off the back of like one of his best seasons, and it was a 15 touchdown season. And tell them, oh yeah, in 2025 when those two were fighting for the MVP spot, and then so there he was like, what? Like you just take a time machine and you go back. With all the things going on politically and geopolitically, the most shocking thing to anybody would be that Daniel Jones and Baker Mayfield are fighting for an MVP. That was the sign of the times that things are going awry in the world.
Yeah, I think it is pretty nuts right now. The like MVP talks and the MVP candidates right now, because it is cool to see underappreciated quarterbacks like Baker and like Daniel Jones. Like Daniel Jones seemed like a good dude. It sucks the hate he got. And it's cool to see them finally get their flowers. So yeah, man. I mean, good for them.
To be fair to them, they're finally playing really well. I mean, Baker definitely had a good year or two in with the Browns. Daniel really never had a year like that.
Besides the one year they went to the playoffs. He had that one year they went to the playoffs. It was like, oh, okay.
And that might have been the 2022 that I was talking about, but it was only 15 touchdowns.
He had a lot of rushing.
Yeah, and he had a lot of passing yards too.
Here's another team. I mean, I have a feeling we're both going to sell on this one. AFC West is the Chargers, Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders. We already did an adjustment for the Chargers. Then everyone got hurt. So we're going to do a readjustment with our AFC West, probably to fit what we said prior to the season, where we said it was like Chiefs, Broncos 1 and 2. I'm obviously selling on the Chargers. Their entire offensive line is hurt. You can't win football games when your offensive line cannot block.
I want to be honest.
They also don't have any running backs anymore.
I'm not selling them.
I am 1 million.
I think they move for a running back. I think obviously linemen don't move midseason, so that's a problem. But Mekhi Becton, like I said, has consistently been the worst lineman on their team. I don't think that's going to stay the case. I think he's going to improve, and their backups have not been as bad. Like when they played the Raiders, their backups look straight up good. And one of the great units on the Raiders defense is that defensive line, and their backups looked good. So
I'm pretty sure their center right now and Zion Johnson are ranked like the worst offensive lineman in the NFL.
I'm looking at the last couple games because that's when the injuries happened,
okay.
But I'm not sure. But I don't think their line is good. But I think it'll be good enough for Justin to keep doing his work. I think Justin just looks so good right now that he might be able to make up for a lot of it and still stay ahead of that division. Because you got to think they already have 3 in-division wins and no in-division losses.
I agree. But here's my big issue, right, is they got beat by the Giants. They got their teeth kicked in by the Commanders, and they barely, by the skin of their teeth, beat the Dolphins, who are awful. And that's with Tua throwing 3 picks.
Sure.
So I'm gonna have to sell them. Unfortunately,
I know. I think their line. A lot of these linemen just hit the field, and I think they'll improve as the season goes on.
I think the Broncos defense looks really good. I think the Chiefs are back on their bullshit. And I think they're going to take the spots. The Chargers may make the playoffs again. The AFC North and the bottom 2 teams of the AFC East are truly so awful that they have a chance still to make the playoffs when Joe Alt gets back. But I think their hopes of being number 1 in this division are probably over, unfortunately. So now,
I don't
NFC
know.
East.
I know the Chiefs have started to kind of come back. I don't know that I'm like, Chiefs have one big win against the Lions, and now all of a sudden we're like, the Chiefs are all the way back. It's like, it could also be a Falcons game. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? But if there's anyone I trust to make a comeback, it is Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Now the NFC East, it's pretty much shaken out how everyone thought. Eagles 1, Commanders 2, Cowboys 3, Giants 4. I'm buying it. I don't think the Eagles are good this year. I actually think they're one of the I think they're probably like the 4th or 5th best team in the NFC.
Yeah, really softer top team.
But I'm buying. This is how it's probably going to shake out the rest of the year.
I could see the
Commanders maybe jump in front of them, but I don't know.
I don't know. I think Eagles stay where they're at number one. I could see the back half mixing up a little bit. I could, if the Giants move on a good receiver, I could see them maybe beating the Cowboys.
Yeah.
But then if the Cowboys get healthy, I think the Cowboys could also jump ahead of the Commanders. I think it's kind of a tight mix in that bottom.
Yeah, I'm kind of I'm talking about the Giants as they are.
Sure.
They might be able to leapfrog the Cowboys. Cowboys might. It's this bottom part, but I would be fairly confident if someone was like, yeah, this is how it's going to end up. I'll be like, yeah, sure. NFC North is a number 1 Green Bay Packers, a number 2 Detroit Lions, a number 3 Minnesota Vikings, number 4 Bears. This division's weird because I think the Vikings are going to end up being the worst in the division. Their quarterbacks suck. Their only
McCarthy's
wins,
coming back for a revenge tour.
Yeah, their only wins are against the Bengals and the Browns. And then they beat the week 1 Bears, and the Bears are starting to get better and better as they learn the Ben Johnson system.
How's it, by the way? What are you buying or selling the 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns?
Jesus, man, Caleb's accuracy is looking rough. I think he may
what it looked like.
I think he may accidentally hit it. I still believe in Caleb. Right now, let's see what he's at. He's at 9 touchdowns. How many rushing? 2. So he's at 11 touchdowns. Ooh, yeah, I don't know about 5K 50. Maybe 4K 40. The Bears are starting to. I can't really say heat up because their last 2 wins have been like legitimately 1-point wins. They've won by 2,
and that's with DeAndre Swift with almost 200.
Dude, he's gone yards. God mode lately.
I told you never be out on DeAndre. He's good, but I don't think he's going to do that all year.
No,
that's why I'm definitely buying the Bears in last place as I did at the beginning.
Yeah, I just think the Vikings suck.
Sure, yeah.
I think their quarterback is so awful.
I just think they're much better coached. Is my thing.
So I still think Vikings are in the end. The Lions they're confusing. They're either beating the absolute shit out of teams or they are getting their shit rocked. There's literally no in between this team. They are either getting smacked in the mouth or they are doing the smacking.
Because it's whether if you cap their run game, it's over. It's over. But if you don't cap their run game, they beat the piss out of you. They just run all over you and kill you and murder you 7 times, double tap, Zombieland style.
So I'm going to say I am buying them in second. Although here's one team that, again, I think is way worse than they should be. And I'm starting to look at LaFleur a little bit with a side eye. The Packers just don't look good.
They just don't look like those Titans that they felt like they should be.
Like week 1 was when you were like, oh man, this is the Packers. And then it was like, yeah, they beat the Commanders pretty handily. It was like, okay, yeah. Then they lost to the Browns. Then they tied the Cowboys. Then they beat the Bengals. But I mean, it's just like 27-18 against the Joe Flacco Bengals.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, bro.
I will say they are stopping the run, though, which was one of the things we were concerned about, bringing in Micah Parsons and getting rid of Clark. They're number 1 against the run in terms of yards.
I will say, though, look at who they're playing.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
One of the games they played was the Lions, though.
Yeah. That was week 1.
The Lions' best rusher got 25 yards.
All right. So I think you're mainly buying this division. You're pretty much.
I think Lions could leapfrog, but I'm largely buying the order still. It's the order South. It's the order I predicted at the beginning and so I'm inherently biased toward this order.
Yeah,
so.
Same here. I predicted it to like this to the T.
Except the Bears. You thought the Bears were going to be number 2. Don't.
So NFC South.
Oh wait, you thought Bears number 1? Oh no,
I said Packers. I said Packers, then Bears, then Lions, and Vikings.
Yeah.
NFC South is shaking out pretty much how we all thought it would. I think the Panthers will probably leapfrog the Falcons. They beat the absolute piss out of them when they played.
I like how they're looking. I think the coaching and the players are getting in sync a little bit.
But yeah, I mean, I'm buying this order. Yeah, Saints suck. Their whole roster's awful. I think Spencer Rattler is so much better.
I was going to say, since other than Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, Spencer Rattler is incredible. If they draft
he looks franchise.
Bro, if they draft, I see Saints fans on Twitter saying they need to put in Suge. If they put him in, please trade him to the Niners. Like, please.
What? Wait, who's saying? Someone's saying
Bro,
to bench Spence?
There is a war going on in Saints Twitter right now to bench Spence for Suge because
These
Spence
are like-
can't get wins. They're
Well,
blaming
yeah,
Spencer
because
for
he
their
can't get
record.
wins because he doesn't have anyone who can score. He's
Brother.
got Jared Goff numbers without Jared Goff players, bro.
It's
20
crazy.
for 26, 227 against the Patriots defense.
Yeah, he has been incredible. But yeah, I'm buying this order. Besides, I think the Panthers will probably leapfrog the Falcons.
Leap
What do you
flag,
think?
he said, guys.
Yeah.
On
Whoops.
accident. He's just a patriot. Yeah, no, I like the order. I think Spencer Rattler deserves to be the number one in the standings in that division, but sadly he has the Saints lugging behind him. I think,
this order seems pretty.
I like it. I mean, I do think the Panthers might. I like the upside on the Panthers, but it's definitely a gamble. They're boom or bust. I think the Falcons have,
Yeah.
more talent, so it's tough.
And then NFC West is literally falling exactly how I said. Besides, I think I said Rams too.
Yeah, but they're all tied.
Niners are 3-0. I've already beaten them. This is the exact order as I thought. The Niners are doing this with 50% of their players. They're starting to get players back, which is what they need. I am buying this order. The Rams, to me, look bad. The Niners.
So.
The Niners.
I thought they looked bad against the Niners, but
I mean, they looked bad against the Niners. They choked the Eagles, and here's the issue with the Rams right now.
Yeah, that Eagles game was.
They are number one in explosive plays, which is how they lost. And Puka is hurt. He's missing time, by the way.
How much?
If you keep a lid on the Rams, like look at the Ravens, dude. They only beat them 17-3, and they had 3 turnovers. They could not get anything going. If you can keep a lid on the Rams, they can't really do anything.
Which I get, but it's like that's like if you can stop the Lions' run game. Yeah, if you can, but I don't see a ton of teams who will be able to do that consistently. So I still like the Rams to win this division.
Yeah, mine. I think this is how the division's going to shake out. I think this is how it's going to end.
I think it's
Seahawks.
I like Rams. I don't think the Niners will be last anymore. The Cardinals look. I mean, they now lost their quarterback and their running back, and it's just they didn't have a lot of. They weren't like the Niners where they had a lot of talent spread out. James Conner was their scorer. That's the guy that scored the touchdowns on that team.
Yeah, the Cardinals are cooked.
Yeah, so I think my original order, but with the Cardinals in last place and Niners in third. So Rams, Seahawks, Niners, Cardinals, I think is how it'll shake out. And I know the Niners have gotten off to a very fortunate start. I think coaching is such a big part of the Niners game, and the offense is just not looking very creative, and I think having Fred Warner not at the green dot, maestroing that defense is going to be trouble long term. And
so to finish up with this today, it's been a great podcast. New heat right now is PFF grades. There's been a lot of flack from players about player grades. Obviously, their stats are not what people are talking about. I've seen people be like, yeah, see, now all these stats they put out are BS. No. Everyone said it's been unanimous. Their stats are great because they come up with these unique ways to find unique stats that we didn't have before. Which I completely agree. I think they're
then they just bias all of those stats in their grades to give themselves this bespoke ranking system.
But I will say this: I think the hate of PFF grades is a bit hypocritical if you agree with ESPN's QBR rating.
Yeah, QBR is also dumb.
It's the same thing. PFF grades are a formula. We know what's included, but we don't know the weights. QBR is a formula. We know what's included, but we don't know the weights.
Yeah.
And so if you think QBR is a good stat, but you're hating on PFF grades, you're a hypocrite. I think they're both bad.
Yeah, I agree. I think it should be transparent what the grades are based on. But then they know they can't sell a membership that allows you to see their rankings. Steelers have been crying out the PFF grade system is bullshit forever because it's had like TJ consistently ranked like the 5th or 6th best edge rusher every year when he's leading in every stat, basically, other than the ones they made up. So it's like, while the PFF stats can be cool, when it's so obvious how heavily they're weighting their own inside stats because they know it makes it easier for them to sell their membership because no one else keeps track of those stats. It's yucky. When Myles Garrett is getting like a top 3 edge rusher grade at the end of a game where he didn't show up, and then the lineman that kept him down to 1 pressure the entire game got like a bottom 5 in the league tackle grade, we have a problem.
And here's what the thing that kicked this off was Caleb Williams. A lot of people are overhyping Caleb Williams' performance. He played like dog shit, but he won. So now it just flips.
DeAndre Swift's merchant.
Yes, that he was somehow some godlike clutch quarterback when he threw 1 pass on the final drive. And so here's the big thing was Justin Fields had 10 net passing yards. He played absolutely horrendous. It was obvious he was by far the worst quarterback of the week with Cooper Rush.
Not good stuff. Not good stuff.
And somehow he was graded higher than Caleb Williams. And so, yeah, I mean, I agree. I think their weights are weird. Someone went on Twitter, one of the PFF guys went on Twitter, and it was like, well, Caleb had 2 turnover-worthy plays, and his degree of difficulty of pass wasn't as high, and yada, yada, yada. And people are like, well, Justin Fields literally threw like 9 passes and had like 10 net passing yards. Who cares about a turnover-worthy play when one dude ain't even throwing?
That's my thing is it's like, and the turnover-worthy play metric is just so weird because I've seen so many. The only games where I'm biased because the only games where you really look into it are the games where it seems fishy. But every time I've looked at a game that I saw compared the tape against turnover-worthy plays, the disparity of like actually turnover-worthy plays and like the ones that they're calling turnover-worthy plays versus not is super
well. And it's basically like they're trying to say like if you sat on the bench, it's better than if you played decent because you would be graded better, which is really weird. Like again, the Myles Garrett thing, like where it's like his PFF grades him as a high pressure rate when he only gets 1 pressure. So their pressures are obviously different than like whatever pressures. And I think what this should all boil down to for people is stats tell about 5% of the story, guys. Stats should not be something you live and die by. It should be film. Someone I was talking to someone on Twitter and we were talking about this and they're like, well, stats are like 70%. They were saying something stupid. And I was like, okay, so Jimmy and Purdy, right? We look at Purdy's MVP season and Jimmy's best season, and they are damn near identical.
Yeah.
And so if you look at stats, you're like, oh, so Purdy's only slightly better than Jimmy Garoppolo. And listen, I'm down on Brock Purdy, but he is way better than Jimmy Garoppolo. And so with people, and they're like, and they tried to argue with me, well, no, the context was Jimmy had Raheem Mostert, who was as good as CMC was in 2023. And I was like, I'm not going to respond to you anymore because that is the dumbest comment I've ever read in my life. Yeah. And so here's the thing, right, is when you're looking at stats, you have to take into context of what is going on around them. So when Purdy's a top 5 MVP candidate because he's 31 touchdowns, 4,000 yards, 4,200 yards, and 11 picks, bro, he had an all-pro Brandon Ayuk, an all-pro George Kittle, an offensive player of the year, Christian McCaffrey. That means the team. I don't know when football became this individualized sport. Like,
well, not just that, right? Like even the non-statistical things, because even those all pros, people would argue, well, then you're just adding more stats. You have to think literally, what are they being asked to do? What kind of coach do they have? What kind of relationship do they have to the offense? And it's like, at the end of the day, Brock Purdy was not being asked to be an all-pro quarterback who was making elite quarterback decisions. He was having half of the quarterback game played by his coach. And that's not going to show up on the stat sheet. Yeah.
And so when you're riled up about PFF grades, one, why are you getting riled up? Who gives a shit? It's a PFF grade. If you don't like it, just don't subscribe to it.
Steelers have been over it for a minute because we've known how bad, because it seems like Steelers are a very obviously outcome-driven team in terms of turnovers and sacks and things like that. And so PFF grades have consistently underrated Steelers players.
Use these rankings as reinforcement for what you're watching. Like, oh, I think that was a good throw. Oh, yeah, that was rated a pretty catchable ball. Oh, yeah, he has a pretty high QBR. Okay, yeah, I do think he's been playing pretty good.
Yeah, and you'll be the coolest guy in your friend group because you're going to be able to make good predictions. Like, what did I say when Nick Herbig came in? I was like, I think Nick Herbig coming in is really good is going to be really good for our run defense because Alex Highsmith relies heavily on his spin move, and a spin move is not a very good move for stopping the run. And Nick Herbig is a speed rusher who uses the TJ Watt sort of ghost move that keeps your eyes on the backfield the entire time, and that's going to make a big difference with Derek Harmon coming in as well. And then boom. We went from bottom 1 team against the run to in the last 3 games, the 6th best rushing defense in the league. You're going to be able, if you use stats for context and actually just try to watch these players and see what they're doing and think of if you were there, what are you seeing as an edge rusher when you're turning your back for a second to the backfield? Like, and maybe listen to players who aren't named Emmanuel Acho and LaShawn McCoy, and listen to like players who are actively playing and what they say they're working on and why, not pundits. Like listen to players.
I still will not listen to players. I think players are also overrated sources of information. But
player pundits are, but like when I say listen to players, I'm like when they're asking, hey, your guys' run defense has been crap. What are you player going to work on? And they say, I'm going to work on this move and this move. Store that and be like, okay, let me see if this is a move that helps.
Like, here's another perfect example, right? Like Jackson Smith and Najigba's going off, right? He is looking like he is statistically one of the best receivers in the league. Is he the best receiver in the league? No.
Yeah.
Like, no.
That's Puka Nacua.
It's like you have receivers, and it's like I see people be like, well, Justin Jefferson isn't that good. Bro, he just has bad QB play.
Jamar Chase is falling off. He's not showing up this year. It's
when you have this stuff, man, like you got to look at the context. And so, I think PFF grades for you and I is just kind of like, we've known they've sucked. Anyone with a brain and eyeballs has recognized PFF grades have been bad.
Yeah.
So that's kind of all I want to do is touch on that drama. Kind of got through it. We already gave predictions for tonight. We both think Steelers are going to win pretty handily, right?
I think I don't know about the score handily, but again, if people watch the game, it'll be a game that's consistently in Steelers control. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it'll be scored handedly, and I think it'll be.
Well, it just depends on our game plan, right? Because if we get a 2-score lead at the beginning and then we do what we did against the Browns, I mean, we're probably going to still get a lot of 3-and-outs, which I don't want us to do. I will say we can't have the same second-half game plan as we did against the Browns against an offense that can actually score. But that's why I love that Flacco got slotted in, because we're not going to treat the Bengals like an offense that's been struggling anymore. We're going to treat them like an offense that is unpredictable and scary because Joe Flacco he's an exceptional backup quarterback. He is probably the best backup.
Even against the Packers, they only put up 18. So I think your guys' defense.
He walked in the door a few days earlier.
Has been looking better. But we'll see what happens.
Dude, Jalen Ramsey, 2 sacks. I'm rock hard.
I think Steelers win, but
family show.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys sticking around, hanging out. Make sure to follow us on socials. Not Trey. He's low key, so don't follow him on anything.
You won't find me anyway.
Trey, thanks for coming on the show, and see you guys next time.
See ya.